This is one of the biggest games that I've seen in 23 years come through this hotel.
It ended up being a loss for the Irish, but we'll show you how the ND-USC matchup was a big win for Michiana.
Warm southerly breezes will bring us a chance of showers by late tomorrow. We'll have all the details coming up in weather.
Could this scene become all too familiar as it gets colder in Michiana? A warning tonight from firefighters.
This is News 22 at 10.
Good evening, I'm Amanda Hart. A celebration tonight for Chicago White Sox fans.
The White Sox have won the pennant.
And that means for the first time since 1959, the Chicago White Sox are going to the World Series. Greg Carroll joins us now, and a lot of fans thought they'd never see this day.
Yeah, you could honestly say that, and to say the Southsiders are off to the World Series just comes out of the mouth so good, Amanda. But this is a team that is looking more and more like a club of destiny. And this just moments ago in Anaheim, the ALCS Game 5. Jose Contreras on cruise control for 9 innings. That's Paul Konerko getting the final out. And just like that, the White Sox win 6-3, taking the American League pennant in 5 games. What can't you say about the great White Sox pitching staff? This is the 3rd complete game in a row from the starter. This time, Jose Contreras saying it again. The Pale Hose will head to the Fall Classic. And I said they're a team of destiny. They're creating their own destiny, Amanda. They kind of survived that late regular season. They were starting to fade a little bit. They're playing their best baseball right now.
Okay, you'll have much more on this in a few minutes, right?
Absolutely.
All right. But right now, a warning tonight from firefighters. Last week, we told you it could cost over 40% more this winter to heat your homes. That has firefighters worried that many of you will look for other ways to warm up your house. And as News 22's Dustin Grove reports, some of those ways could be unsafe.
Early this weekend, South Bend firefighters fought flames at 2 homes at the same time. Both turned out to be vacant, and no one was hurt this time. But as temperatures continue to drop, firefighters expect to stay busy, dousing flames in many cases sparked by those trying to stay warm for less, especially this year with heating costs on the rise.
That's very unsafe.
South Bend Fire Captain Rick Borden says he's seen too many fires, all too avoidable.
People try to use their stoves to heat their home. They'll turn their ovens on and open the door.
According to the National Fire Protection Association, fireplaces and chimneys are involved in about half of all home heating fires. Space heaters are to blame about 25% of the time.
They'll stick it right next to a bed in the bedroom to keep people warm, and invariably they'll either start the covers on the bed on fire or possibly the curtains.
Firefighters recommend keeping your space heater at least 36 inches from anything that could catch fire, and have your fireplace and chimney cleaned and inspected each year. Steps to prevent flames, saving your home and precious lives, too. Dustin Grove, WSBT News 22.
Firefighters say the most important thing to do is have working smoke detectors in your home, at least one for each floor, and check it monthly.
I'm meteorologist Bob Werner in tonight for John Shaner as we take a look at our News 22 sky camera in downtown South Bend. You can see the skies are clearing. It's a peaceful night out there, but the clearing skies mean a couple of things for us. First of all, we'll take a look at live News 22 storm tracker. Here's the good news. The clear skies, of course, mean no precipitation around, in case you were thinking otherwise. But the bad news is the clear skies will allow our temperatures to drop to rather low levels overnight tonight, much as they did last night. We can take a look at our live News 22 weather bug, and you can see these locations. Benton Harbor had a low of 43 overnight. Winnemac and South Bend Washington High School both went down to 38. Goshen at 39 overnight last night. And you can see the temperatures approaching those values already tonight. As we take a look at what we can expect for tomorrow, we do expect the possibility of patchy frost, but strong southwesterly winds will shoot us up to around 70 and give us a chance of showers by late in the day. We'll tell you about all these changes coming up in just a few minutes, Amanda.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Notre Dame fans are still trying to come to terms with the team's crushing loss to USC. The Trojans beat the Irish 34-31 in the final few seconds of the game. It's a big loss for Notre Dame, but as News 22 Samuel King tells us, the weekend was a very big financial win for South Bend.
The biggest game at Notre Dame in a decade brought fans from all over, and they brought their wallets.
Notre Dame is unlike any other school to go to a football game at.
We're just having a great time. We love to come to South Bend.
And businesses were glad to have them here. At Le Peep Restaurant, more pancakes were served than in quite some time.
You got a river of USC fans, so you just a sea of maroon in the restaurant as opposed to green, but it's okay. They're welcome here.
Just to show you how big the hotel business was in town this weekend, the Marriott Hotel has 300 rooms. All of them were booked at $400 to $500 a night. You do the math.
This is one of the biggest games that I've seen in 23 years come through this hotel. Very busy, a lot of check-ins early.
But perhaps the busiest people were at corporate wings at the South Bend Airport. They had a record 278 planes on the ground during the game, more than double that of a normal home game.
We brought in staff from our sister operations in Fort Wayne and Cleveland. We still couldn't keep up with the demand.
A hectic weekend to be sure, but these businesses are sad to see these fans go home. In South Bend, Samuel King, WSBT News 22.
And officials estimate a Notre Dame home game pumps about $6 million into the local economy. Candles were lit across the country tonight to remember victims of domestic violence. This South Bend vigil marks the beginning of a campaign called Week Without Violence. Outside the YWCA, people gathered to hear the stories of women who have survived domestic abuse.
And if we get the word out, you know, maybe other people will just feel as strongly as I do about it, and they will stop in their own lives. And if they feel that, if they find out that there's a way of stopping it, a place that they can go, maybe other people won't be battered like we were.
The Week Without Violence campaign continues tomorrow. A South Bend couple died in a car crash last night. Police say 54-year-old Joseph Followay and his wife Mary died when their car hit a grain truck on State Road 2 near New Carlisle. The driver of that truck was not hurt. And Michigan lawmakers may crack down on teenage drivers who talk on their cell phones. The House this week is expected to vote on a bill aimed at barring drivers under the age of 18 from talking on their phones or using other wireless devices while driving. The House Judiciary Committee approved the bill on a 14-0 vote last week. If you bought a Powerball jackpot ticket, that is, for last night's drawing, I have both bad and good news for you. First, the bad news. You did not win. But here's the good news for everyone. No one won last night, and that means you'll get another chance at it. Wednesday's jackpot will be a record-setting $340 million. That's about $25 million more than the previous record set on Christmas Day 3 years ago. In and are being counted for a new Iraqi constitution, why the country remains divided. That's in your world tonight. And a school bus accident in Wisconsin kills 5 people. We'll tell you what led to that deadly crash. News 22's meteorologist Bob Werner says we could see some frost tonight and rain tomorrow. Your Storm Tracker forecast is next on News 22 at 10.
You're watching News 22 at 10 with Amanda Hart and your Storm Tracker forecast from meteorologist John Shaner and sports with Greg Carroll. We're 22 WSBT, together making a difference.
One name, one place, your connection to local businesses. TellUsMore.com.
They say knowledge is power. My job is to learn what's inside people's hearts, to search for clues, to discover insight that could save someone's life. And when I pass on the knowledge I've learned about a patient, I know I am putting it into the right hands. It's part of the line of trust, a bond I can always depend on.
When my grandparents started Martin's in 1947, they didn't dream that their small neighborhood grocery store would not only survive, but grow to have such a major impact in the community. Martin's programs, like Heat for Homes, Advantages for Education, and the many others we sponsor, have allowed us to reinvest millions of dollars back into our communities. We couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you from all of us at Martin's.
This morning's low temperature, a chilly 39 degrees, afternoon high 61. Sun rises tomorrow at 7 o'clock. The forecast in a moment.
It's the Great Escapes Great Tailgate Party, where you'll find everything for the ultimate tailgate party room. Buy a qualifying Brunswick billiard table and get a matching player's chair free. Furnish your entire game room with the Meridian Collection, including an 8-foot billiard table and a room full of matching furniture for only $19.99. Hundreds of wood bars starting at $3.99. Bar stools for only $19. Create your own arcade with foosball, air hockey, and electronic darts. To escape high prices on pools, spas, patio, billiards, and fitness, shop the Great Escape.
Looking for higher yield and profit potential? Choose DeKalb. Strong DeKalb roots lock into the ground, and strong DeKalb stalks stand tall for higher yield potential at harvest. Over 45,000 head-to-head comparisons have shown that a competitor's leading products lodge nearly twice as much as DeKalb. Superior root and stalk strength can deliver more yield from your fields. That's the yield advantage of DeKalb. Strong roots, strong yields.
Now, your News 22 Storm Tracker forecast.
It's a beautiful fall night out there in Michiana. That's confirmed in one way, at least, by News 22 live storm tracker. You can see nothing showing up on the widest range possible here, so we have no precipitation in sight. That's an indication that things are relatively calm and peaceful. We'll take a look at our satellite and radar combo and confirm that. You can see plenty of clear skies across our immediate vicinity here, and as we spotlight the area, you can see the little group of clouds that brought us some wistful-looking clouds this afternoon, but also some clouds associated with another shortwave moving toward us that could bring us some late-night cloudiness and prevent some of us, especially those in the western counties, from receiving the frost that many of the rest of us probably will experience overnight tonight as temperatures drop into the 30s for another night. It was a rather cheerful day across Michiana, though, today, about at least before the late clouds rolled in, with a high temperature normally expected to be 62. We got up to 61, not too bad, although that was the first below normal high temperature in the past 6 days. And it was the 9th straight day of no precipitation at the airport, so we could use a little rain. Unfortunately, we're not going to see too much of that, at least not in the immediate future, although there are some chances tomorrow. Highs today were pretty cool around the area, 63 at Chicago and 60 at Detroit, but look at the warmth building out to the west. 74 at Kansas City, 76 out at North Platte. All that will be moving toward us on strong southwesterly winds. Our live weather bug network, too, shows some interesting high temperatures across the area right now. The high today was not 43 at Benton Harbor, despite what you see there, but 63 at Winnemac, 61 at Washington High School, and 61 at Goshen. And it's already down into the 30s out at Washington High School, so we could see some chilly temperatures. Out at the airport, the 10 o'clock readings, temperature 42 degrees Fahrenheit, the dew point at 37, relative humidity 83%, barometric pressure high, and the wind is calm right now, all adding to the possibility of clear skies and frost. Here's a look at our national cloud and satellite depiction. Again, clear skies overhead tonight, but there is some stuff that's trying to make its way toward us. Again, a big bulge in the jet stream out here will bring warm temperatures to much of the nation's midsection, and that's what will be moving toward us, too, as this little trough of cold air moves out of the way over the next probably 24 hours or so. In the meantime, overnight tonight, we will see some chilly low temperatures. You can see lows in the 30s pretty close by, although 46 for a low at Chicago sounds pretty good, and 60 out at Kansas City indicates quite a bit of moisture in the air down to our southwest. And highs tomorrow will, with strong southwesterly winds up into the 70s, we think, as close by as Chicago. We should get pretty close to the 70-degree mark ourselves. Here's the way things look on Futurecast. Again, overnight tonight, clear skies will allow temperatures to drop rather rapidly, but as we move into the day tomorrow, we'll see a gathering area of rain off to our west that will move it through late in the day and give us at least a chance of some scattered shower activity. Here are the details of our forecast, saying overnight tonight, mostly clear, with patchy frost possible, a low temperature of 38. For tomorrow, a pretty nice day, especially early, with increasing cloudiness and a high of 70, giving way to some more clouds and a chance of showers late. Continuing into the evening hours, then partly cloudy overnight tomorrow night with a low of 50. And then for Tuesday, a great day, partly sunny, a little colder, but still relatively mild with a high of 68. And as we take a look at our 7-day outlook, if we can, we may or may not get to that. There it is. Quick look at the 7-day indicates a normal high would be 59. All these temperatures above normal until you get to next Saturday. And our really best chance of rain is probably Thursday or Friday, Amanda, but even that's not a good chance. We're kind of dry. We could use it. Instead, we're going to deal with frost.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Well, the leaves will soon be falling around Michiana, and that means it's time to rake. Beginning tomorrow, the Mishawaka Street Department will begin its annual fall leaf pickup program. People can rake leaves to the curb for removal. Crews will then pick up the leaves the day before a person's trash pickup. And improvements are on the way to a popular South Bend golf course. Earlier this year, the city of South Bend considered selling Erskine Golf Course to developers. The mayor changed his mind, though, and now the course will get a new stormwater drainage system. Park officials say that should help with flooding problems on the course. Michiana High School is about to get a new look. Construction is beginning at John Glenn High School in Walkerton. The nearly $14 million expansion project could be done by late next year. You can read more about those stories in tomorrow's South Bend Tribune.
Still ahead on News 22.
The rioting is over and the cleanup begins in Toledo. What the mayor says may have sparked this fighting. And the Bears finally put together a good game and move into first place. But first, here are tonight's winning lottery numbers.
Chrysler Town & Country, with the exclusive stow-and-go seating and storage system. There when you need it, not there when you don't.
Right now, get $2,000 cash allowance on Town & Country. Hurry into your Chrysler dealer today.
Talk to Hostetler about Energy Star approved replacement windows and entry doors for your home. Hostetler is the most trusted name in garage doors, replacement windows, and entry doors in the greater Michiana area.
It's the top reasons to visit Afton. Number 9, your convenience. We offer weekday and Saturday scheduling with all services in one convenient location.
Something new is unfolding in your Sunday South Bend Tribune. Behind the colorful graphics, expanded sections, guides and how-tos, and interactive content are the stories that matter to you, formatted to make your Sunday Tribune easy to read and easy to navigate. Sunday is more of what you need to know, and just the way you want it, better than ever. The South Bend Tribune. Discover what's in it for you every Sunday.
WSBT.com, voted best website by the Indiana Associated Press, and now it's bigger and better than ever. You could always get local news and weather when you wanted it. Now you can watch the latest News 22 Storm Tracker forecast and the top stories of the day with streaming video. WSBT.com is News 22 online.
In your world tonight, the votes are now in, and early predictions indicate Iraq will have a new constitution. But as Charlie DeGatta reports, the country remains bitterly divided.
Hard numbers are some days away, but Iraq looks almost certain to pass its U.S.-backed constitution, a milestone for democracy and a huge relief for the White House.
This is a very positive day for the Iraqis and as well for world peace.
But it comes amid fierce opposition. A significant Sunni turnout in Iraq's most troubled provinces has further defined the gaping ethnic divides in this fractured country.
There is a level of polarization, and Iraq as one big family, we know if part of the family is not happy, you cannot live in the same house.
Many have even warned of a civil war. This high-ranking Sunni leader insists his party has enough no votes to defeat it.
Even if it does fail, there is cause for optimism. Basically, it will mean that for the first time since the fall of Saddam, Sunnis will have taken part in large numbers in the political process, backing ballots and not bombs.
That will ultimately undo this insurgency. But of course, they can still pull off violent and spectacular attacks.
And they did so again Sunday. 2 mortars hit Baghdad's green zone where election officials are counting the votes. No one was injured. But Saturday, at least 6 American service personnel were killed in roadside bomb attacks in the heart of the Sunni Triangle. In the coming days, all eyes will be on the Sunnis. They oppose the Constitution in large numbers, and should it pass, many fear the extremists may fight back the only way they know how. Charlie Daggett, CBS News, Baghdad.
Heavy rains in Pakistan are hurting efforts to help earthquake survivors. The death toll from the quake now stands at 54,000, and officials fear the bad weather may lead to even more deaths. A small Wisconsin town is in mourning tonight. One student and 4 chaperones died when a school bus crashed into a jackknife semi-truck. It happened as the bus returned from a marching band competition. The driver of the bus is among the dead. And over 100 people were arrested after a protest turned into a riot in Toledo, Ohio. Police say they don't know why the demonstrators turned against them. The crowd was there to protest a neo-Nazi rally. 12 police officers were hurt when the crowd threw rocks and bottles. It was a game that will be remembered for a very long time. Coming up next in sports, Greg looks back on the Notre Dame USC game and tells us where the Irish are ranked now.
Woke up this morning feeling fine.
There's something special
on my mind. Something tells me I'm into something good. Start your morning on a high note.
Something tells
me I'm into
something good.
With new Yogurt Burst Cheerios cereal, a touch of yogurt-flavored sweetness added to the crunch you know and love, and strawberry and vanilla. Are you ready?
Increased numbers of motorcycles on the road have resulted in increased injuries and fatalities. There are ways you can protect yourself, like wearing a helmet, keeping your bike in good condition, and riding to your skill level. And by never assuming the drivers around you will see you. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, you need an attorney who understands motorcycle law and will fight for your rights. Timing is everything, so as soon as possible after an accident, call Sweeney, Piper, Morgan, and Stasiak.
Your style is our style. For every shoe that you need, for your entire family.
Get to Shoe Biz for great savings. 20% off all athletics, Doc Martens, and Skechers. Right now, Lifestride and SAS are also 20% off. Plus, get $10 off men's work boots over $69. Don't miss great savings at Shoe Biz.
Get fit at Shoe Biz.
The scene of an accident is not the time to worry about who will do your collision repairs.
Well, miss, where do you want us to tow your car?
Gurley Leaf Collision Centers make collision repair worry-free. You get 24-hour towing, free storage, on-site rental cars, and free estimates. Gurley Leaf gives a lifetime warranty and works with all insurance companies and handles all the paperwork. And best of all, with the area's largest staff of technicians and painters and the most advanced equipment and facilities, you'll be back on the road fast.
Well, miss,
take it to Gurley Leaf Collision Center.
They'll handle everything.
Now, sports with Greg Carroll.
Step right up, Chicago White Sox. Your World Series destiny awaits. ALCS Game 5 in Anaheim. Starter Jose Contreras trying to become the 4th White Sox starter to do a complete game in a row. Yeah, just 3 runs over 9 innings. That qualifies. Tied at 3s in the 8th with 2 outs. Controversy follows A.J. Brzezinski again. It looks like the pitcher tagged him out, but he used the ball, the hand that didn't have the ball, and the inning is extended. Joe Creedy knocks in the go-ahead run, one of 3 RBIs. And you could argue Creedy is the series MVP, that Brzezinski play, extending the inning again. And that would really trump the MVP, Paul Konerko. He is the true series MVP. That blast right there gives the Sox a better lead, and they took a 6-3 lead into the 9th. And Contreras routinely finishes Los Angeles off, kind of ho-hum. Ozzie Guillen's team just playing so well. It's been domination stationed by those Sox pitchers all series long. Sox win 6-3. The Pale Hose will play for the World Series title. The Southsider-styled celebration begins in Chicago. The Sox haven't been in the Fall Classic since 1959. They haven't won the World Series since 1917. And it looks like they'll face the Houston Astros. Houston owns a 3-1 edge over the Cardinals in the NLCS. Well, yesterday's SC Notre Dame game is rightfully being called one of the greatest college football contests of all time. And really, where do you start? From the real green jerseys to the Tom Zibikowski punt return for a touchdown to the Trojan survival. Yeah, this had all the makings of college football at its best. Tears from both sides have been shed, and I read that both Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart cried after the game. They knew Notre Dame took them to the brink. Charlie Weiss's next move is to build his team back up, something the defending 2-time champs have already noticed.
I'm really going to have to do a good job working on their psyche, you know, because they'll be down, and it's human nature. I mean, it is human nature, but we'll pick them up. It's our job.
They're really good. Yeah, they're so well suited on offense. You know, they've really changed. I think defensively they're going to continue to get better. They're already good and solid and physical and all of that, but they'll catch up. They're going to be a real problem for everybody. I don't see any way that they're not going to be a really good program and really good team.
Notre Dame stands pat at 9th in the AP poll, the first BCS poll to come out Monday afternoon. Weiss spent most of Sunday with recruits. We'll keep our ears open for any verbal commitments. On to the NFL, where the Chicago Bears kick a team while they're down. Some Minnesota Viking team members allegedly were caught in some sexual misbehaviors out on a chartered cruise last week. Big controversy there. Saw some funny love boat signs at Soldier Field. Kyle Orton finds Desmond Clark all day. Clark catches this touchdown, does a nice job of getting the ball over the line. Third quarter, Orton was selling the play action, hits Clark again for 6 more. Orton a little bit better. Bears up 14-7, and Thomas Jones takes it to the house with a 24-yard run. Not bad for a guy who's supposed to be injured. Cedric Benson with just 3 carries today. Bears win 28-3, moving to 2-3, and atop that embarrassing NFC North.
We all know that we got a great defense. We don't need to score that many. But when we get the ball in great field position, we got to put the ball in the end zone. That's what we did today.
Cal managed the game well again. Had 1 interception, but beyond that, I thought he did what we asked him to do.
That was Kyle Orton and Lovie Smith talking. More NFL. Lions had the Panthers where they wanted them late in the game. Kenoy Kennedy lowers the boom on quarterback Jake Delhomme. That'll leave a mark in 32 seconds left. Yeah, look at it again. Delhomme would go out, and Chris Weinke comes in and hits Ricky Prohl for the game-winning score. Lions get beat 21-20. They dip to 2-3. Yes, they're tied with the Bears. Of course, the Indianapolis Colts host the Rams for Monday Night Football. The Horse will look to go to 6-0 for the first time since 1958, the Johnny Unitas days. Here's NASCAR from last night at Lowe's. Ryan Newman rebounds from early tire troubles, had gas can issues too, finishes 7th, calls it good points night. Points leader Tony Stewart in the lead. He crashes right there. Tony winds up 25th. And that paves the way for Jimmy Johnson, who wins again at Lowe's. That's 4 in a row now. Johnson couldn't believe his luck.
At the end of this race, I don't know how it all worked out over 500 miles. There were so many points tonight where I felt like we're out of this thing. We don't have a chance to win it. Top 10's important. After the 20 crashed, it was really just about surviving and finishing.
That leads us to take a look at the point standings. There's now just 5 races left. Johnson tied with Tony Stewart, catches him at the top. Greg Biffle's next, then Ryan Newman and Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace drops 3 spots to 7th. As NASCAR will head to Martinsville next Sunday. Lots of people wondering how Michelle Wee's pro debut finished up. Well, not so good. She played good golf, but she was DQ'd after an illegal drop earlier in a round. She was 4th before the ruling came after the tourney ended. From the final putt is hold, no shocker, it's Annika Sorenstam on top at 18 under. Annika goes over $2 million in golf earnings for the year. And make sure you stay up a little later for us. We'll be doing some sports dogs next. We'll have the Notre Dame SC game covered from A to Z. Got some great photo pieces you're going to want to see. Plus, we'll be giving away this one-of-a-kind Notre Dame anniversary football commemorating 75 years of football at Notre Dame Stadium. That will go to our trivia winner, so definitely some great reasons to stay up and check us out on Sports Dogs. But Amanda, the talk is about the White Sox, and unfortunately, we're a tape show. We don't talk too much about them, but I'm going to be shocked if they don't go on to get 4 more wins and win the World Series.
In
Sports Dogs, yeah. We didn't get to that as much as we'd like. We'll make it up to Sox fans on down the road, because this is a team, like I said, I will be so shocked if they don't win the World Series.
It's been a great sports weekend.
It has been very eventful.
Bob is next for the final check of the weather.
I'm Charlie Adams. Do you know an outstanding student athlete, one who excels in both academics and sports? If so, log on to WSBT.com and nominate them for Burger King Student Athlete of the Week. Then be sure to watch News 22 at 6 every Thursday for that week's award winner. 22 WSBT and Burger King, proud to honor local student athletes.
Catch the Burger King Outstanding Student Athlete Thursday on News 22 at 6.
2006 Saturn Ion. Lease a new 2006 Saturn Ion 2 for around $152 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details.
Look, dear, we got a letter from the Steins. Dear Count, the whole gang is having a wonderfully wicked time on our trip to the Niles Haunted House Scream Park. We hung around the Field of Screams and 3 new fiendish haunted houses. The Reaper rode the haunted hayride. He finally bought the farm. All our friends had a scream. The whole place is so much fun, it left us in stitches. Come join the party. We'll be here weekends from mid-September through Halloween night. Wish you were here.
And a final check of our weather tonight.
Yeah, you know, Amanda, things are getting a little bit chilly out there tonight. There could be patchy frost around, as a lot of us will dip down into the 30s tonight. But there's good news after that, because strong southwest winds will drive our temperatures up to near 70 tomorrow afternoon. And we might even get a few isolated rain showers around the area, which would be very welcome for most of us. Tuesday looks wonderful. Wednesday even better, high 73. And Thursday and Friday present probably the best chances of rainfall over the next 7 days as temperatures begin to crash just a little bit for next weekend. And the way it looks now, the next weekend may be dry, but there's some indications that there could be some rain. So let's hope we do get a little moisture.
Okay, thank you, Bob. That is News 22 at 10. Thanks for watching. We hope you have a great week. Stay with us, because Michiana's only late-night sports show, Sports Dogz, is next.
Quinn, the short drop, he's going to take it. Quinn, Brady Quinn, stop, touchdown! Liner, sack! Liner on 4th down, in the pocket, goes down the sideline. It's caught!
The Fighting Irish have restored our faith as Notre Dame gives top-ranked USC all they can handle and more in a game that lived up to its billing. Good evening, and I'm Greg Carroll, and welcome to Sports Dogz, Michiana's only late-night sports talk show. And I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say that it's been tough to digest Notre Dame losing by 3 to the men of Troy. But there are so many silver linings. It's kind of helped us, me at least, to begin recovering here. We'll dive into that game very soon here on our show, but let me introduce my co-host, starting with TV Todd Bella. Todd, you put together that nice little show open for our program. You said you had chills putting that one together, and Notre Dame lost even.
It didn't have anything to do with whether Notre Dame won or lost. It was the simple fact that as that game was winding down, I just shook my head after Liner completed that pass. I said, this is the best sporting event I think I've ever seen, whether it be in person or on television.
That's a lot of emotion for Todd Bella, if you know him. So that's pretty good. We also welcome the South Bend Tribune's Bob Werner. Bob, your quick take on that game. I mean, the chilling parts.
Yeah, one of the best football games I've ever seen as a fan or a reporter, but it was just, I'm exhausted today and I didn't do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard to remain objective, at least for me to say. And Jacqueline Hireman is here. I don't know who's more hoarse, you or me. Normally it's you. Today it's me, I think.
It is you. But that game was just unreal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's get to our dog bites here on the show. Let's kick things off. Now, I like to leave Notre Dame football games before halftime to tend to duties back here at the station. We have a 6 o'clock newscast I have to get to, and I kid you not here. I walked out and then back into the stadium at least 3 times yesterday at the end of the second quarter. I had a special feeling in my gut that I haven't had in probably 12 years, and I simply didn't want to leave it behind. When Tom Zibikowski ran that punt back for a 21-14 lead, I started to physically sense what was at work. Notre Dame is no longer on that road they've been traveling down for the last 8 years or so. Now, that isn't to say there's still plenty of improvements to be made, like getting team depth and, heck, dare I say, genetically cloning a guy like Reggie Bush. Wouldn't that be nice? It is clear, folks, the direction is full speed ahead. When you go toe-to-toe with one of the greatest collections of talent college football has ever seen, especially in light of what's happened in the last 3 years with that program, that is progress. You could see it in the faces of Southern Cal after the game. They knew that the sleeping giant of college football has been woken up. And sooner rather than later for them and anyone else, there's going to be hell to pay. Todd?
Thanks, Greg. Everyone says that when Notre Dame is on top of college football, the sport is better. Well, you didn't even need to have the Irish to have a heck of a day enjoying yesterday and the Big Ten Saturday. Michigan handed Penn State its first loss of the season and did so with no time left on the clock. Just when everyone counted them out, I'm telling you, the Wolverines could still wind up on top of the Big Ten. The league is that wide open. And speaking of wide open, how about the path to block a kick for Ohio State? Instead of leading 20-7 at the half, Michigan State allowed a 10-point swing. Head coach John L. Smith was furious, and his team wasn't any good in the second half, blowing that lead and losing their second straight game. So much for them being one of the best teams in the country. But still, the craziest ending happened in Minnesota. With under a minute to play, the punter dropped a perfect snap and then tried to kick it and had his kick blocked into the end zone and fell on for the game-winning score. Well, score one for college football, and this season continues to get better and better every Saturday. Go ahead, Jack.
Thanks, Todd. The Notre Dame-USC rivalry is the best in college football. It has qualities like no other. It is a matchup of respect, class, and excellent football. You'll have your Ohio State, Michigan, Miami, Florida State, Navy, Army, but there's nothing like Notre Dame-USC. These two historic programs have produced legendary players and coaches, resulting in an enormous fan base and 11 national championships apiece. They've given us 80 years of classic hard-nosed football, and this Saturday was no exception. The hype was justified with the perfect weather, the green jerseys, the stadium being so electric. The sun set, the fourth quarter hit, and the moon lit up the field. It was one of those moments that you look around in awe. It was a game for the ages, one that we'll be talking about for years to come. The unparalleled tradition has been passed on to my generation and continues on in a very remarkable way. I cannot wait for November 26, 2006 to get here.
And that, of course, is the next time Notre Dame plays Southern Cal. Of course, it'll be out at the Coliseum.
And Southern Cal is going to be a lot different team. They won't have Matt Leinart, and they won't have Reggie Bush either, because after winning 3 straight national championships, I think they're going to win it this year. And when he wins the Heisman this year, that guy is gone, and he rightfully should be.
I always equate things to money. I'm sorry, at least when it comes to sports like this. But Reggie Bush stole from Matt Leinart yesterday.
He is incredible.
Leinart probably doesn't know it yet, but come draft day, stole a little money because Reggie Bush is the best player in college football, and he's going #1. Leinart should have gone out last year if he wanted to be the #1 pick. But anyway, you look back at this game, and it's so foggy because all we really think about is the end, that final frantic 5 minutes, and you just go back to thinking about how that kind of played out, Bob. I mean, I don't have a problem looking at that final play or the final series of plays at the end there. I don't really have a problem with how it happened, but it just was so unconventional as far as it happened. I know a lot of the Notre Dame fans out there are hurt because of that, and there's that kind of a cloud. I mean, the ball should have been at the 2-yard line, and there should have been about 9 seconds left, but they made the play.
They made the play. I mean, 4th down and 9, and they convert for 61 yards. That's what you always go back to, you know. And you can't really blame Notre Dame. Charlie Weiss said his defense was in a perfect spot. They had a great play called, and sometimes you just got to tip your hat. USC made a play. That's what champions do.
I mean, that game, I mean, literally came down to that 4th and 9. When Trevor Laws makes that sack on the second down, I believe it was. I mean, I really thought, you know, them having no timeouts, it was going to be hard for USC. But, you know, perfect defense. Ambrose Wooden was there.
Yeah.
It almost hit him in the back of the
second.
hand when his hand was
He
up
made the
deflecting
play.
ball.
I mean, you see what Leinart did. He audibled. He threw a perfect pass. I mean, Leinart didn't do anything except make the 2 biggest plays of the game.
I want to get back to that Trevor Laws sack for 1 second. We talked about the incredible build-up for this game, starting from the pep rally on through Saturday and throughout the game. When Laws had that sack in the 4th quarter, that place was absolutely deafening. And I mean, I couldn't talk to our photographer, who was literally 2 inches away from me. We couldn't hear each other. I've never experienced anything like that, especially at Notre Dame Stadium, a place that is notorious for not being as loud as it should be. That was an amazing atmosphere.
Certainly the crowd did their part, but just looking at that, the final, you know, when the ball goes out, I mean, talk about a different perspective of the Matt Leinart play before the final touchdown play, when he got hit and the ball's fumbled. I'm at home watching it on TV,
Right.
like I said. Obviously, I see the ball go out, and, you know, the game is still has at least another play to go. People at the stadium, though, obviously thought the scoreboard goes down, Weiss goes out like this. I mean, it's game over. I mean, tell me about the different perspective you being at the game.
Us being in the north end zone, we can't see what's going on in the south end zone. All we see is the clock, you know, slowly winding down, and the students start pouring over us, and Todd yells at me, like, Jack, be careful, and it's like, we thought it was over. We thought it was done, and then, you know, you hear the PA announcer be like, everyone off the field, and I'm like, what is going on? And
It certainly just had to be
chaos.
such a roller coaster to go to thinking you're winning. I mean, for the players, for everybody involved, and then to have that actually pan out like
Painful.
that. I mean, Pete Carroll was prophetic. There was no instant replay. Had there been instant replay, it would have been a little more organized at the end. The way I saw it, ball should have been at the 2-yard line. They added at the 1. They started at the inch line. They moved it back a little bit. There should have been about 9 or 10 seconds left. And I don't know how that changes the way the game ends.
If it was at the 2-yard line, they'd have given it to Reggie Bush rather than Matt Leinart taking it.
Sounded to me like Bush didn't want it, though, which shocks the heck out of me. The guy's absolutely money. But I mean, just the way at the end of the game was insane. You'll never forget it.
How big of an impact do you think is with Bush pushing Matt Leinart in?
To me, that's a penalty. Every time I've ever heard that should be a penalty.
Right,
Also,
it is a penalty by rule, but it's not going to be called in that situation. For one, it's so quick, and for two, that's isn't it not a 15-yard penalty in that situation?
Probably. I'm sure it's some kind
Can you
of...
imagine if that was called?
That's called. Yeah, it's a penalty, but it's not one that's going to be called in that situation. It's just.
It was just a combination of so many things that were there in that last minute that just made the game unbelievable.
One last thing to think about before we take a quick break and come back talking about it. I mean, looking at that game, as soon as they made that 4th and 9 pickup, there was over a minute left. USC's in the red zone. You know they're going to at least have a chance at a field goal. Does Charlie Weiss think about taking a timeout? He went to bed with 3 timeouts in that game. I know you have them on ice skates because they don't have timeouts, but you know they're at least going to kick a field goal. Well, how do you see that, Bob?
Well, you know.
Organize yourself there. I mean, it's a tough call.
Yeah, it's a very tough call, and, you know, some time would have been nice to have at the end of the game there. But,
Right.
There was just so much going on in the field, and so many things were well done in that game. It's really hard to question anything in it, in my opinion.
I got one thing to say about that. It's funny because there's so many different things that go through your head about how the final seconds, even the final minutes played out. And you can start with Brady Quinn scoring on that quarterback sneak. If he doesn't extend that ball that extra few inches, there's probably 40 more seconds taken off the clock right there, and they're on the 1-inch line. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things. Jarrett, if he'd have scored, it probably would have been better for Notre Dame. On his 60-yard touchdown, they'd have at least had the ball back with a minute to go rather than 3 seconds to go in a desperation, you know, kickoff return.
You could just see the pain on us. We're all doing these what-ifs. I mean, what, Ambrose Wooden, pass interference, hack the heck out of that guy. Take the 15-yard penalty. Don't let him run, you know, an extra 40 yards. But that's an instinct, and that kid played so much better this year. And, you know, you don't teach someone to make a pass interference, but we're just trying to rationale it one way or another because it was that good, folks. We got to get to a break here, though, but we're going to be right back. We're going to talk more on this historic game, Notre Dame and USC.
Hey, this is Tim Brown, 1987 Heisman Trophy winner, and you're watching Sports Dogz.
Introducing Halloween milkshakes from Steak & Shake. New caramel apple and dark chocolate double fudge. This is probably a good time for one of those evil laughs.
Steak and Shake with new Halloween milkshakes.
At LaSalle Bank, we do all the work, providing the right financial tools and investment options, so all you have to do is agree on where to retire. LaSalle Bank, making more possible.
The South Bend Tribune and 22 WSBT present You Pick 'em. Log on to WSBT.com today and sign up. We've chose the 15 games. All you have to do is choose what teams you think will win. If you pick correctly and beat the pros, you'll be entered in to win an annual subscription to Irish Sports Report. Think you can beat this panel of experts? Here's your chance to prove it. For more information, visit WSBT.com. Log on today and you pick 'em.
That was a slugfest out there. That was a street fight. I mean, there was 2 good football teams going out there. And for that, they should keep their heads held high. Okay, but losing's losing. you know, that's still the way it is.
They're going to be a real problem for everybody. I don't see any way that they're not going to be a really good program and really good team.
Thanks for watching Sports Dogs. We're back here in the Dog Pound talking about Notre Dame and USC a little bit more. Guys, a game that legitimately could be on ESPN Classic tomorrow night, and I would not have any kind of problem with that whatsoever. Look at the game plan that Charlie Weiss came up with. I mean, if you're not a Charlie Weiss fan after yesterday, then you never will be. Just forget about it. I mean, just a complete ball hog type of approach. 39 minutes of possession. Completely took USC away from their offense. Of course, they got on and would score in 2 or 3 plays, but I mean, it was just the way they did it. Then they changed it up, Bob. I mean, it was great.
It was unbelievable. They come out in that first series, pitch left, pitch right, pitch left, pitch right. That's working. Then they come out later, and you got Brady Quinn sneaking up the middle, gaining yards on called plays that we haven't seen a lot of. Then they're going long and getting pass interference calls. And then on that the late drive, it's slant this way, slant that way. It was just an amazing game how he adapted. It really showed the country, if they hadn't seen already, how good of a game planner he is. It's amazing.
Jack, I saw Andy Reid, the Eagles coach, on the sideline taking notes.
It's
I'm
unbelievable.
kidding, of course, but I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I wouldn't either.
It was unbelievable. I mean, you talk hats off to Rick Minner, the defensive coordinator. I mean, yes, USC scored 34 points. That's 20 below their average, and Notre Dame held them to like 476 yards or something like that, well below their 600-yard average. Defensive line, Victor Abamiri played well. They were getting pressure on Leinart. They really rattled his cage.
That's one of the things I thought would be key, that the front four gets some pressure so they can keep some of the guys back, you know, and occupy some territory rather than have to blitz everybody. And they were able to do that. I mean, you really couldn't have picked a better game plan than Notre Dame. I mean, a couple turnovers went against them. That's the one thing you can say about beating a team like USC. You can't make mistakes, and they had a few of them.
Notre Dame did everything they could. They got everything they were looking for. Defense, they got the turnover in the red zone. They got a special team score. They had an offense that was rolling. I mean, they literally did about everything that they could do to win this game. Green jerseys, though, we got to get to that. I mean,
Let's talk about your reaction to the green jerseys.
At first, I was pretty upset. I got to be honest with you. Just like I got that 2002 Boston College taste in my mouth. Then I got to thinking about it. Weiss was a student in '77. He has a little bit more of a natural connection to that whole thing.
For the right reasons.
And as he said after the game, he did it for the players. That pretty much is good enough for me. And the dang things weren't neon green. I mean, they at least got the better shade, according, you know, in relation to what it was in '77.
They looked a lot better. I saw when they came out, you could kind of see them down the tunnel. You're like, oh, is that green? But after that, it wasn't a huge deal. It didn't dominate the talk during the game. It didn't dominate any of the talk after the game, and that's a good sign.
Well, when Notre Dame wore green last time, they had 5 fumbles, so there wasn't much else to talk about beside those green jerseys during that Boston College game. But yeah, I think there was so much that happened yesterday. Initially, that was a storyline, but as the game went on, I think the story changed 4 or 5 times as far as what the big thing was in that game.
They have lost 4 in a row with those darn things on. So
and they've lost 4 in a row at home.
Yeah, they haven't won a home game since October 9th against Stanford. I mean, we love Charlie Weiss. He's 0-2 at home. How does that work?
This is their longest losing streak ever at Notre Dame Stadium. It's been done twice before.
It's been over a calendar year.
But you know what the game really proved, like to naysayers like you, even last week, just doubting the Irish, that they went out there, left it all on the field, gave it their all, and hung with the best team in the country.
Yep.
You can't doubt it at all.
Absolutely. I mean, really, and then I'm getting way ahead of myself. Notre Dame was within a 4th and 9 of legitimately playing for a national championship. Lots is going to have to happen, and obviously it's not going to happen now. Lots would have had to happen in the BCS, but the way things shake out, I mean, really, Notre Dame was that close to being a major player in that, Todd.
I can tell you what, they play BYU next week. It's going to be tough to bounce back from that emotional low, but let's face it, not to sound mean, but they've had a lot of opportunities to bounce back from, you know, tough losses, and they've done it well at times. They're going to be a 3-touchdown favorite in that game. It is easy to say that Notre Dame should run the table this year and wind up playing in a BCS Bowl at 9-2, and then beyond that, it's easy to say it might be a long, long time before they lose another football game going into next year as well. Their schedule as far as the home-road splits is a lot more favorable than it was this year. This is a very good football team. You can almost put them ahead of your undefeated Georgias and Alabamas and in the top 5 as far as where they stand right now in college football. And to think that off of a 6-6 season is, I mean, we've used amazing, unbelievable out of adjectives, really.
Absolutely, and the rest of the games are probably going to be snoozers. But anyway, let's talk recruiting real quick. Bob, you handle recruiting over there for the South Bend Tribune and for Irish Sports Report. I saw a lot of that. This was a huge recruiting weekend. We all saw the recruits doing push-ups. Plenty of those to be had. They were doing the Irish jig dance. I mean,
How could you not get involved and
pretty good
excited
ball.
about that game?
For me, I think the biggest catch there has got to be Gerald McCoy. He hasn't done anything yet. The catch would be a Gerald McCoy defensive tackle. How did you see recruiting?
Well, it's still kind of in the early stages. I think this has just been an ongoing big weekend of recruiting, and that's kind of why Charlie Weiss didn't have the press conference today. He was still talking to recruits, so he'll have that tomorrow and then his regular Tuesday. But McCoy was there this weekend. That's a monster catch. It sounds like it's Notre Dame and USC. You got to figure maybe Oklahoma will be in there too, since he is from Oklahoma City. A lot of talented kids here yesterday, very talented kids. And the smart thing, the real smart thing they did was bring in the kids who had already been committed and let them serve as recruiters also.
If you're a recruit and you don't want to come to Notre Dame by now, you're an absolute retard. I mean, seriously, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Jacqueline, you talked at NBC at halftime, they did a thing with Charlie Weiss and the Goog. I mean, that was just like a glorified commercial.
It was a commercial. The facilities were phenomenal. And just like you said, if you don't want to come, then don't come, because we'll find someone who does want to be here.
They will find somebody. I mean, and Bob, they're running out of spots. And I mean, that's a good problem, but it is a dynamic that they have to watch out.
It is, and they need offensive linemen. They've got two who are pretty good, but there's some great ones out there yet that they need. And they need 3 more offensive linemen, and right now there's only 6 scholarships left. You don't know what's going to happen. If this early enrollment thing will happen or not, that would open up a few more. But offensive linemen, probably a speed receiver, what they need, and it's in pretty good shape right now, though.
Last thing, my only regret other than the final result, I didn't get to meet Snoop Dogg. He was up in the press box somewhere. Didn't get to talk to him a little bit.
I did get a picture with Kirk Herbstreit.
You did get that, so that will be going up, I'm sure, on the internet, right?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely, something like that. All right, don't want to stop talking about it, but we have to. When we come back in our dog pound tonight, we'll talk something other than football, like I said. Hey, the White Sox in the World Series, they could be there right now. We're a tape show. Sports Dogs, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sean Salisbury with ESPN. I love the Sports Dogs. I'm from USC, but you know what? I'm still big on the Sports Dogs. Charlie Weiss is the man, but USC wins on Saturday. Sports Dogs are the real deal.
Who are those guys?
Oh, that's our network. It's the most reliable. Comes with the phone.
Do I owe you?
No, we're good.
Cool. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. And now America's most reliable wireless network has cool Samsung camera phones for just $49.99. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
It's a countdown. It's our anniversary, and we're counting down the top reasons people choose Aftent. Number 8, high-quality Crown and Bridge services. Crown and Bridge treatment can alleviate pain and improve your appearance. The difference can be truly amazing. Why not see for yourself? Schedule a Crown and Bridge consultation, free. Self-improvement is simple at Aftent. It's a whole new feeling and a whole lot more.
Somewhere out there, there are people who can sit down on the job. It's just not you. So get the all-day comfort of genuine Red Wing boots for people who work on their feet.
Get Red Wing boots at Yoder's Department Store in Shipshewana and visit them on the web at yoderdepartmentstore.com.
Thanks for watching Sports Dogs, everybody. Thanks for staying up late. We do have to apologize to our White Sox fans out there. We are a tape show. We could not go on live tonight. Who knows? The White Sox could be on their way to the World Series right now. And, you know, but if you're a White Sox fan and they are on their way to the World Series, you're probably dancing in the streets. One real quick thought on the White Sox, though, Todd. I mean, the starting pitching is just amazing.
Yeah, 3 straight complete games. That bullpen's probably, they get probably jelly arm. They haven't done anything in so long.
They've been playing games of jacks and card games back there, and that's about it. We'll talk more White Sox. Good luck to them the rest of the week. We're doing our trivia right now. Last week's winner was Mike Raymer. Bill Parcells was the college head coach at Air Force Academy before his days in the NFL. Mike won a copy of the new book, Touchdown Jesus. Tonight's winner will receive a football we got here on our table. It's a special anniversary football. Our question deals with those USC Trojans, now winners of 28 in a row. Who was the last team to beat USC? Maybe get a shot of this football right here. Email the answer to sportsdogs@WSBT.com. Be the first, and you'll take home this one-of-a-kind 75th Stadium Anniversary Notre Dame football. Thanks to everybody out there for watching. Thanks